We're going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice long
Welcome
hair
back
and
to
you know
the
that
Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube, and also rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. What is going on, Bears fans? Today we are going to be breaking down the Chicago Bears versus the Pittsburgh Steelers because, man, it is looking like Aaron Rodgers might be out there and play. We'll discuss it a little bit more about what factors to consider. And in all seriousness, we know Aaron Rodgers, and it feels like he might want to try and play. And also, we found out that the broken bone is on his offhand. So it's going to be a pain tolerance thing. And if there's one thing we know about Rodgers, is that the man's petty. So I have a feeling that he might be out there. That's kind of my guess with it. But what's going on? Like I said, we're going to be breaking down the Bears versus the Steelers. And as we always do, offense, defense, players, matchups to watch out for. And then we'll, at the very end, talk about just overall with the team, our bold predictions for the game. What's good, J2K? See you out there. Bear down indeed. Joe's out there too. Bear down, everybody. And let's get this show on the road, shall we? So first off, we have some news that we have to break down. Number one, Bears signed Jalen Reeves Maybin. And now, not a huge signing, but someone that's at least a linebacker familiar with Ben Johnson, and also has been a pretty good special teamer, has been what I think an all-pro, at least a Pro Bowler from that perspective. So Bears bring him in, they sign him to the practice squad. Now, I think that part of this, when we get into the injury report, you have to kind of look at some of the injuries that we've had at linebacker because, you know, Sewell might not be out there. We'll talk about that later, but he might be someone that they want to add in just to try and bolster up this linebacking group a little bit more. And also, too, this linebacking, this special teams unit has been bad. So why not bring in someone that can maybe help out a little bit? The other thing, too, Jake Moody no longer with the Bears. So RIP, the kicking competition that the Bears had. Quite frankly, you know what? I'm happy for him. He was able to come over to the Bears, try out something, and then now he's moved on. And like we said before, Cairo, he's accurate. Can you get better? Yes. But I think too many times people look at like a Brendan Aubrey and Little from the Jags and these people with these crazy legs. But the thing that we don't look at, right? Remember what happened with the Bears when we got rid of Robbie Gould. And then we tried adding all these different kickers, and it was so difficult. I'm not here to say Cairo Santos is the greatest kicker of all time. What I'm saying is that it can be worse. It can be worse. We saw this also with the Atlanta Falcons. They had Young Hui Koo. They got rid of him, and then it's been a lot of struggles with them trying to find a kicker and try to bring somebody in. It's not always greener on the other side. And it's not just, because I've heard people, just pick someone up and just add them. Everyone can kick 60 yards. It's like, well, why is there still lots of issues at kicker all around the NFL? Yet again, Cairo is someone smack dab in the middle. That's the feeling. And yeah, I agree with Taco. Earned him a contract. Yeah, bless him and his family. I think that's the best way to think about it with Jake Moody, someone who was drafted high, disappointed in San Fran, and then someone that's able to do some good stuff. So also, what is good? We got Tony out there. And like I said, we got Taco Man, bear down, my friend. And let's see. Taco Man saying Rodgers is about to give up the belt. Love that. J2K saying with the short week against the Eagles, I think Ben waits to play JJ and Gordon for that game. Yeah, so some of you have kind of been voting out there inside my little my poll that I have. I'm asking everyone, do you think Kyler and Jalen are going to play? Because now let's get into the injury impact and start talking about the injuries. Because right now, Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson are both practicing. Now, today, both of them were, in fact, limited, but pretty big news because Jalen Johnson activated last week to be able to have that 21-day practice window, which I thought was a little early. Like, it was kind of a weird day for when they announced Jalen. You're like, you could have just waited next week. But no, they did it last week, brought him back in. But to me, I think when I'm looking at this, my take on it is because you're talking about Kyler Gordon with the calf injury, and we saw him re-aggravate that. Kyler, I'm taking time with. And I think too with Kyler, you also have you also have CJ Gardner-Johnson. So I don't think you have to necessarily rush him back. There's not a huge urgency because CJ has been good. CJ has struggled in pass coverage a lot more than I think people want to admit, but he's been very good against the run and obviously as a pass rusher. He's been incredible at that position. But yeah, for someone that you picked off the street, great pickup still to this moment. But yeah, Jalen Johnson coming off the groin injury. His trainer just posted that he's ready and kind of posted that out there. We'll see what Thursday brings, what Friday brings, but especially when you're talking about Jalen Johnson, I would rather be like, okay, let's take it easy with Jalen. If we can get him for the Eagles, awesome. But I believe right after the Eagles, we're going against the Packers. Let's have him ready for the Packers, right? Like that's my number one thing. Have him ready for the Packers because I don't want him to re-aggravate it. And Jalen is going, like, you want him to be healthy. You want him to be rested. You want him to be ready so that he can bring this up. Like a lockdown corner brings it up like crazy, especially the amount of man-to-man that we do in fact play. So yeah, and I like Taco Man's question, like with these injuries piling up, who is the strength and conditioning coach? I think that we actually fired our the one that we had before, and then yeah, like we just have so many injuries. And one thing that I brought up actually at the very beginning of the year too, I said like the Lions have gotten a lot of injuries, and they always are very, very aggressive during practice. Like that's how Dan Campbell does it. Does any of that affect this, right? Like because of the intensity at practice, is there just more injuries? I'm not an expert at it. It is pure speculation, but it's just something to just throw out there. Is some of this the body breaking down after very, very intense practices? So now, before we never really saw these veterans getting rest days, but now we see Kevin Byard out today with rest. Grady Jarrett with rest. So that's the thing that I've just wanted to bring up as a potential piece, just a little nugget, as maybe that's why they're a little bit more banged up. Well, let's see what y'all are saying out there. Tony's saying he thinks Jalen has a chance because his window opened. That is true. And yeah. So exactly, the person who was training Jalen was the person that said that Jalen was ready. So we'll see. I really hope if he's able to play, like, yeah, I want to see full participants and I want to see him just out there full speed because especially this week, he could really help. But continuing to talk about more of the injuries, DeAndre Swift, Darnell Wright, and Tyreek Stevenson, and Travis Homer, and Drew Dahlman, all limited with injuries. All expect them to play. But then when we go through the DNPs, we have Noah Sewell, TJ Edwards, and Tremaine Edmonds, and Jaquan Brisker. Now, Jaquan Brisker was banged up on that one play. And, you know, he was banged up last week. I expect him to play. Obviously, we'll see what Thursday brings. But my guess, right, Wednesday is always the horrific looking one. That's always when we have the most people on DNP. And then Thursday, it then flips. So for me, I think that Jaquan Brisker, if I had to predict, I'd say Jaquan Brisker plays. I'd say Tremaine Edmonds plays. TJ Edwards, I still don't think so, just because you're talking about getting used to a club and then also figuring out his hamstring deal. But then Noah Sewell, I hope he plays. I expect him to play just because he was able to play the rest of the game. But he's going to be the big one to watch because you're talking about a starting linebacker. And this team, this Pittsburgh Steelers team, they are someone that they like to run these tight ends. They're having fun with their tight ends right about now. Some of you might have seen the Washington play, and he's this big, officially 311 or 312 pound tight end that just can plow people over. So yeah, you want linebackers that can bring that guy down. So that's my feeling. But let's continue going through and let's talk about their injuries. And like we talked about with Aaron Rodgers, do we think Aaron Rodgers is going to play? I'll ask, because 57% of you are saying that you think that Kyler and Jalen are not playing, and 43% are saying just Jalen. So Not too high on Kyler. I agree. Totally agree with that. Jalen, I think, is going to be the big one. So yeah, I agree with how that poll kind of shook out. So now let's ask, is Aaron Rodgers going to play? Yes or no? Let's see. Start the poll. And as y'all start voting, I kind of just want to go through their injury report. So Jalen Warren did not participate today with an ankle. That is going to be the guy to watch out for. He has been their main he's been the main person producing on this offensive side of the ball. Darius Slay, full participant today after a concussion, so expect him to play. The other person to watch out for is Alex Highsmith. Did not participate today. He has been incredibly productive at the defensive line, tallying, I believe, 6 sacks. Let me just pull that up real quick. Highsmith with 5.5 sacks. So very, very close. Still, very good season for Alex Highsmith. Another person, Jonnu Smith. Like I said, they've had a lot of different tight ends out there. But Jonnu Smith actually has not been producing as much as, say, a Pat Freiermuth or the Darnell Washingtons. Those are the two main people to focus on. But never mind. I just read it. I just read the reason, Jonnu Smith, because I was like, I didn't think that he was actually injured. It was a rest day for Jonnu Smith. So expect him out there. And that's where they will run a lot of 3 tight end sets with Jonnu, with Pat Freiermuth, and also with Darnell Washington. But let's see what y'all are saying. A lot of you, 100% saying yes. Tony's saying, I think he pushes to play, but I don't know. I think it's going to be his last game versus the Bears. I agree. And I want to bring this up because, so Rodgers did not participate today with his left wrist, and they specify left wrist, so we all know this. But has anyone watched the movie Hot Rod? Because the way that this feels, and I wish I should have grabbed like the clip from Hot Rod. So if anyone hasn't seen Hot Rod, it is a dumb movie. It is amazing. It is just stupid humor, and it's with like Andy Samberg, and it's just a dumb movie. Yeah, talk about it. Say I love it, right? What this reminds me of is Andy Samberg's character in Hot Rod. The whole premise of it is it's his stepfather just always beats him up, and he's never able to actually beat up his stepdad. So he's finally like, I'm going to beat up my stepdad. But his stepdad gets sick. So then his entire thing, it's like bad heart. He needs like a heart transplant, or like he needs an operation done. So then Andy Samberg ends up going through, like, basically becomes Evel Knievel and starts doing all these stunts and tries to raise all this money. So basically he can beat his old dying stepdad and just destroy him. That's what it feels like for us Bears fans right now, because we're like, we got to kick his ass. Like, we got to beat him up. We got to go take him out. And we're like, you are going to play Aaron Rodgers no matter what. Like, I will, like, in the movie, he's like, I will get you better so I can finally take you down once and for all. And so that's what it feels like with us Bears fans. We're like, we will give you the medication. You will be playing Aaron Rodgers, and we will take you down. And that is what I think, like, we all need that closure, just like in the movie Hot Rod. Like, we need to just finally beat him up, and finally then we'll be a man, as they say in Hot Rod. That is the thing. Now I need to go watch this movie afterwards. Like, and if you haven't, watch it and then just put on the frame of Bears versus Aaron Rodgers, and it will be completely that. So hopefully, it doesn't spoil much, but hopefully it's the right ending, just like that as well. So yeah, he is old, and we'll talk a little bit more about Aaron Rodgers a little bit later. But let's talk about this Bears offense versus this defense. So yeah, thank you, J2K. I thought that it was a great comp. Thank you. And then Taco Man, big fan of that. So yeah, if anyone hasn't seen it, now is the time. Now is the time to watch out for that, because it definitely is a great comp, I'd say, or great comparison of what exactly is going on. So now let's talk a little bit about what the Bears offense is going to be going against with this Steelers defense. I feel like we already know the Steelers defense is really good. So just to put this into perspective, this stat is about a week old, but still it's very, very relevant. So the Steelers defense has generated quick pressure, which is under 2.5 seconds, on 17.4% of opponent dropbacks this season, the 5th highest rate in the NFL. They averaged a 2.53 second time to pressure, the quickest in the league, with Nick Herbig with 15, which is the most, tied for the 9th most in the NFL. TJ Watt with 14, which is tied for the 12th most. And they lead the team in quick pressures, standing as the only Steelers defenders with 10 or more this season. They have a lot of horses up there. Like Nick Herbig and TJ Watt have been very good. And then, like I said, Alex Highsmith has been really good. And you look at the sack numbers. Nick Herbig, 6.5 sacks. TJ Watt, 6 sacks. Alex Highsmith, 5.5. Keanu Benton, 4.5. And then you also look at their advanced metrics. Nick Herbig, number 1 in pass rush win rate. Keanu Benton, number 10 in pass rush win rate among defensive tackles. 11th highest pressure rate according to NFL reference. And just Alex Highsmith, phenomenal. But even then, even though that they have these horses up front, they have the 4th highest blitz rate percentage. So even then, they're still going to blitz you. They're still going to try and knock you off your mark, even though that they have these amazing defenders. But then the next piece too is then we have this stat, which it's a little small, but on the screen, let me see. This is better. Here we go. So for those watching on YouTube, you can see this stat, which is Caleb Williams and the percentage of dropbacks. Like whenever he drops back, whose responsibility was the pressure? So overall, Caleb Williams with just 19 overall pressures, which I was like, that's actually pretty darn low. But basically they're charting how many pressures did the offensive line give up versus the quarterback. So quarterback's own pressures allowed was 19. That's what it is. So when they're looking at it, who is to blame for the pressure? So the number 1 highest in the entire NFL, the Bears have a 32.4%, like the person to blame for the pressure, 32.4% of the time is their left tackle. And it's not just Theo Benedette, right? This also incorporates Braxton Jones, but Theo Benedette has been worse when it comes down to pass protection than Braxton Jones. As crazy as that sounds, Theo Benedette has not been good. And in pass protection, right? That's the big clarifying piece. That is the worst percentage out of any position. That is the worst percentage at the left tackle position out of anyone. It might actually be the worst overall when you're looking at who to blame for the pressures. It has been awful at that left-hand side. So yes, it's going to be very challenging. Then when you look at the tight ends, our tight ends in line have actually given up the 2nd highest pressure rate as well. But yet again, probably because they're trying to help out the left tackle and there's a lot of blitzes that are coming in. But still, I don't think that our tight ends are bad at blocking or anything like that. I just think that we are asking them to block a little bit more than, say, other teams. But on the flip side, I want to kind of talk about this. Caleb Williams, I have said, has given up pressures, right? But that's what other quarterbacks do. And according to this metric, Caleb Williams, when you're looking at the percentage of blame, he actually is right in the middle in the entire NFL among qualifying quarterbacks. And then when you also look at the rest of the offensive line, Joe Thuney is number 1. He is the least. It's at 7.4% of blame. That is the lowest percentage out of any left guard. And then Dahlman is right in the middle at 13% of the pressures. He's at fault 13% of the time. And then at 16.7%, you have Jonah Jackson, which is okay. Like it's kind of good. And the 3rd best at right tackle percentage is actually Darnell Wright. So really what this shows, right? If you just had to take a step back, it's just that left side has been just destroying Caleb Williams. So that is the big thing. And I agree with Taco Man. With Jonah, it's that Vikings. The Vikings, they have Jonah Jackson's number. And when you look at Jonah's games outside of the Vikings games, he's awesome. So yeah, and also Philip, what's good? Bear down, my friend. I see him Farius out there too. Bear down, my friends. And Drax, what is good? Bear down. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, so let's see what else is out there too. So this is the stat that I just wanted to throw out there because all this to be said, Theo Benedette is going to have a day. It's going to be very difficult. And I also want to kind of throw this out there too. It's not saying that Jonah Jackson and Darnell Wright are perfect. Darnell Wright is looking great, right? The pass protection, it's not perfect, but it's great. It's really, really good. And Jonah Jackson has been good at pass pro and has been great at the run stop or at run blocking overall. But let's kind of continue to talk a little bit more about this defense that they have out there. Like I said, this defense is crazy good. They also have Jack Sawyer, the rookie out of Ohio State. But man, when you get this full defense out there and you get Nick Herbig and J.J. Watt and Cam Hayward is the highest graded defensive tackle in the entire NFL according to PFF. Just incredible production on this line. This is one of the best, if not the best, defensive line that you're going to face this year, or even in just purely in the NFL. So you know they're going to be sending the blitz. You know they're going to be attacking you, and also similar to the Vikings, this is also one of the best defenses in the red zone, only allowing touchdowns on 51%, which I believe was fifth best in the NFL. Also, 15% of their drives end in a turnover, which is fourth best in the NFL. The Bears, if you're curious, are number one at 20%. So they're able to generate a lot of pressure, attack you, and you look at their just numbers overall, though. So even though they have this incredible defensive line and this incredible pressure, Pro Football Reference has them as the 15th best defense according to EXP, and then also their passing is 12th, but their run defense is 24th. So yes, they're very, very, blitz happy, and they'll attack you. But if you're looking at where you can do well, it's on the ground. Now, yes, it's 4.2 yards per carry, but the Bears could potentially get some success going against the Steelers and be able to attack the ground game and get that ground game going. Last week against the Bengals, Chase Brown, who has had his ups and downs, averaged 5.5 yards a carry against this Steelers defense. So for me, if I'm looking at this as the Bears, I'm going, let's get this ground game going. Now, I don't think that you have to rely on it as heavily as most of us wanted for the Giants game, but still, this running game, Ben Johnson is going to call a balanced attack. I think that with this running game, you're not going to see it stopped, but you're going to see it continuous. You're going to see some production and some success on it. To me, see who's got the hot hand, because similar to the Bengals, even though that this Steelers defense has been just incredible at the front lines, they also have the second most missed tackles in the league. Number one being the Bengals by an insane margin, but the Steelers have the number two highest group of missed tackles. And let me just pull up this stat. Their missed tackles 93, and the next highest is 84. So yes, Drax, you read my mind. It's Monungai time. If you want to talk about someone that could break tackles, now Swift also does really capitalize against people that can't tackle. And that's the thing. Both of these running backs can really, really capitalize against some people that just can't tackle. Because Monungai, he'll put the fear of God into them and just start smacking them across the face. And that's why I want to see this running game go after them. Because we saw this against the Giants, where they just weren't the most disciplined in their gaps and schemes, and just general running games can do well against them. I think the Bears have a little bit of upside when they're going against a poor tackling team like this Steelers team has been. So, exactly, we need more Kyle. We need more Monungai time. We need more of him out there. I could see him having a pretty good, big game. But the other piece, too, that I want to call out, the Steelers run man coverage even more than the Bears. They run it at the third highest percentage of time, the third highest percent. Now, when you look at who the Bears like to target when it comes down to man coverage, the number one target that Caleb likes to go to in man-to-man situations is none other than Rome Odunze. So Rome Odunze, I'm looking at him as someone that could potentially have a big-time game, because what we see is that when it's man coverage, he will then look to him because he knows that Rome Odunze is going to beat his man. And I'll actually pull up the exact stats so we can see it. But it was kind of crazy because I think Luther Burden has only faced like 7 reps of man coverage. Everything else has been zone coverage. Let me see. So let me pull this stat up. So yeah, so the Pittsburgh Steelers have ran man coverage at the 4th highest rate in the entire NFL. But even at that rate, it's still 33.4%. But during that time, Rome Odunze's target rate, Rome Odunze's target rate in zone coverage is 19.7. But his target rate in man-to-man, 25%. So quarter of the time that they see that it's man coverage, Rome has been getting the ball. But yeah, Luther Burden, only 16 routes ran in man coverage, 88 when it comes down to zone. So big difference there when it comes out that way. But yeah, Luther Burden, highest percentage in zone at 22.7. So just something to call out. And, just something to call out is that, yeah, Rome gets a little bit more of the targets when it comes down to man coverage. Now, is this Madden and are they showing the play that it's going to be man coverage? No, but that's the big thing, is that there's going to be, I think Rome is primed for a big game. Now, I know sometimes, I know someone was talking about this with DJ Moore. Well, DJ Moore hasn't had big games, so maybe they want to include him. That's a good case. But I really do think that Rome, it's going to be his game. And then, yeah, J2K saying the stat with Pittsburgh has given up the most 100-plus yards to wide receivers. Agreed. I actually saw that. I didn't see that stat, but I was going through my stats. And I can probably even pull this up on my side. Yeah, it was some outrageous number where it was literally over 11 100-yard receivers. Let me just see. Filter by team, stats against. And let's go Pittsburgh Steelers and position group wide receivers. So let me see. So receivers with over 100 yards: Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Jordan Addison, Ladd McConkey, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. So yeah, so 7 that went for over 100 yards. Then T. Higgins went for 96, Garrett Wilson 95, Cooper Kupp with 90, and then Christian Watson at 85. So yeah, lots of receivers have gone off, and that's where I think it might be. I think that Rome, right? You know that Rome is going to be able to beat people in man-to-man coverage, and you feel more confident with that. I think if to me, it's going to be Rome or DJ. Now, I know that that's not a super big thing, but I think that one of them is going to have a crazy game. Then the other piece, too, is I think that they'll also get the tight ends involved. From a tight end perspective, I mean, since I have this up, I can also bring this up, too. So when you look at the most yards allowed to tight ends against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Tucker Kraft had 143 yards against them. Hunter Henry, 90. Harold Fannin, 81. So some of these teams have had some really good success against them with their tight ends. Then it drops down to Noah Fant at 44, Hawkinson at 39, Noah Fant again at 36, and Elijah Arroyo at 31. But the reason why I want to kind of bring that out is when you look at who to target and you look at their defense, and let me just kind of pop this one back up. When you look at their defense, their corners have actually been pretty darn good. Porter Jr. has been Joey Porter Jr. I was going to say Tracy Porter. But Joey Porter Jr. has been someone that just good coverage guy. He's a very good man coverage guy. So he's very, very solid at that position. But someone who's turned a lot of heads, mine included, is Brandon Echols. He's been playing great. Brandon Echols, Kyle Duggar, they've been playing really, really well at that cornerback position. But other people to kind of who to target. Juan Thornhill used to be out there, but he's been since replaced. Darius Slay and Chuck Clark, he's been replaced. But really the people to target, Darius Slay has not looked the same, and Peyton Wilson. So to me, they have some good coverage guys. And we know this as Bears fans. Look at the person who is an easy matchup and target that. So if you're seeing someone with Darius Slay, I would be targeting that way. Now, Asante Samuel Jr. did sign with them, and maybe he ends up taking Slay's spot. I don't think he would be this week, though. But then, yeah, look at Peyton Wilson's way, too. Peyton Wilson has not been great Patrick Queen is PFF's 70th graded linebacker out of 81. But Peyton Wilson and Darius Slay both have positive EPA and completion rates when targeted. Positive in this sense is bad. It means that they allow a lot of completions and it's better to target who exactly they're going against. So that's why middle of the field against these linebackers, that's something that we can definitely look at right there. So what's also good, Ron? I see Ron out there, bear down. He's hopping over to a Packer show over there too. But yeah, I think just kind of a little bit like with the Packers as well. Man, their Twitter is like going off. Like their Twitter really hates us. And same thing with the Minnesota Vikings. Like they really hate us right now. Like there's a lot of fan bases that are really starting to hate us. Lions already hate us because we stole Ben Johnson. Actually, Ben Johnson wanted to come here. Let's be real. The more that we know about Ben Johnson, we're like, why was this even a debate? He loves Chicago. Like he's been a Chicago fan his whole life. So yeah, of course he wants to be here. Also, we got Bearskin Matt. What's good? Saying big game for Rome. That's what he's thinking. Love that. Bear down to you, my friend. Drax saying let the Bears break Rodgers for good. Yeah, I love it. So who's going to be here? I'm going to actually ask this question. Well, we'll do this because what was it? Corey Wooten. He was the one that broke Brett Favre, right? So he broke Brett Favre. I'll just ask this. Who will break Rodgers? Will it be Booker? Will it be, I'll put CJ. Will it be Sweat? Actually, I'll put Javon. Booker, Javon, Sweat. I'll just put other comment. Who do we think? Booker strikes me as it, right? Like, because Booker's on that left side, just like what Wooten would be on that. Yeah, I'm thinking Booker. That's my take. Even though it'd be sweet to just see CJ Gardner-Johnson just like freaking fly around the outside. But yeah, I think I'm feeling Booker. I think that he could maybe get a little hit. So yeah. But let's see what else is out there. So with this defense, let me see if I have any more stats for y'all. But yeah, the big thing to just understand is that they are going to be sending blitzes. They're going to be sending pressure. This is going to be the hardest defense that they go against. More difficult than what the Vikings were going through. Vikings will try and confuse you and do stuff like that. Steelers, they're just darn good. They're just all the best at their positions. So for me, it's you want to be decisive with the ball. That's why I think Kyle Monangai might be great for this. Make sure your people are on your blockers and go. I think that Kyle is, actually, I'm going to pull this up. I think that Kyle Monangai is actually one of the most efficient blockers. This is stuff like this is one of those days where I'm like, man, I wish I had a co-host so then I'm not like pulling stuff up and talking at the same time and doing stuff like that. But let me see. Yeah, Kyle Monangai. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seventh highest, seventh most efficient runner. And what that means is just he's not no BS type of guy. Straight through the hole, goes. And just literally is like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to go and find the hole, go. Now, yeah, he's been having very bad blocking. People have not been blocking, like last game, terrible blocking there, but still has been pretty darn good. Trying to think of anything else from the offensive side. We'll continue to see Luther Burden out there more and more. And like I said, I also would want the Bears to attack the middle of the field. So next, what is my offensive matchup to watch out for during this game? So let me know what is your matchup to watch out for during this Bears offense versus this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Now I can easily say Theo Benedette, and I'm going to give Theo a break because I could definitely say Theo versus Nick Herbig because Nick Herbig's going to be giving them just absolute chaos all day. I think that they're going to have a tight end. I think that tight end is going to be chipping them, but it might just be because of the matchup that we are seeing right now. And where DJ Moore is on the left-hand side of this depth chart. I'm going to say DJ Moore versus Darius Slay. That's going to be the matchup I'm watching out for because DJ Moore has kind of gone a little quiet lately. With one catch over the last 2 games, he's not been looking good either. And what's there to complain about? You're getting the ball thrown your direction. You're just simply not catching the ball. Yeah, you wish you could get more touches, but that's going to be the matchup I'm looking out for. I was going to go back to Loveland versus Wilson, because I think that's another really good matchup that I think you really like your chances with what Loveland and your tight ends are able to do against this team. But really, to me, it's going to be attacking Darius Slay and really just trying to make the big plays happen on that side. Let's keep on going. And let's talk a little bit about this Bears defense. So this Bears defense versus this Steelers offense. So let me tell you a little bit about this Steelers offense, led by Aaron Rodgers, who is PFF's 32nd out of 39 graded quarterback. PFF hates Aaron Rodgers. So even though you could look at Aaron Rodgers and say, hey, he's actually one of the league leaders in touchdowns at 19 and only 7 interceptions. But PFF, not a fan. That does not impress them much about Aaron Rodgers. But other unimpressive Aaron Rodgers stats that are out there, when pressured, he is PFF's 34th out of 40th ranked quarterback. When kept clean, he's their 31st out of 40. Now, when you look at his passer rating when kept clean, it's 16th highest out of 40 quarterbacks. So that's not bad. But basically, PFF, not a big fan. And also, EPA, Aaron Rodgers, 25th in EPA per dropback. And a big reason is because he has the shortest completion, average completed air yards per pass at 3.5. 3.5 yards average completion. That's nothing. He has and then his average intended air yards, his intended air yards is 5.7 yards. That's the lowest. That is the shortest in the entire NFL. Also, fourth highest percentage of his passes are behind the line of scrimmage, and he has the second lowest throws in the intermediate zone. So really all his passes are screens. He has, I think it was like the second highest screen rate. So at his old age, he's just taking these short little dinks and dunks. Bears play press coverage. Bears play up on them because that's what they're going to try and do. And then just look for DK Metcalf to try to hit a deep ball, because I think he's still like 10th lowest when it comes down to the deep ball. But still, DK is DK. They're going to be trying to just dink and dunk it as much as possible. That's how they're doing it. They have, even though that Aaron Rodgers has been the least pressured quarterback, it's because he has the second shortest time to throw at 2.64 seconds. He's just getting the ball out as fast as he can. And even in those short little games, he still has a -1 completion percentage over expected. So still mildly inaccurate, but nothing crazy by any stretch of the imagination. But yet again, when you're throwing these little dinks and dunks, that's the way that he does it. That's the way that he's going to make it play. Just very simple passes that he's going to be trying to complete out to his receivers. And speaking of receivers, I kind of alluded to this a little bit. His tight ends they're starting to get them more and more involved. And when you look at this last game, Darnell Washington, big 300-pound tight end, 4 catches, 67 yards. Pat Freiermuth, 1 for 19. And Jonnu Smith, just 2 targets. Didn't catch a single ball. But they will run these 3 tight end sets out there. Darnell Washington, with his huge weight, this is the man that is just another tight end on the field. And I want to just kind of pull up his PFF blocking grade. It's got to be great. 10th highest in the NFL. Just an absolute beast. And they also just updated his weight to 311. So just a absolute unit and just a difference maker at that tight end position that he's going to be tough to match up for. So when you look at this team, they're going to be running a lot of tight ends out there. DK Metcalf, still a good receiver in the NFL. But everyone else doesn't really entice me. Calvin Austin, their slot receiver, he's someone that can make some big plays, but yet again, not a great receiver. But they'll try to just do little dinks and dunks to him. And then Roman Wilson, just someone that never excited me out of Michigan, just never really saw that play. So yet again, they're going to be running a lot of tight end sets and trying to get the running backs involved. Now, if their running back is not able to play, so if they're not able to play with Jalen Warren, you're going to see a lot of Kenneth Gainwell. Caleb Johnson out of Iowa has actually been awful in the NFL, has not looked good. So Kenneth Gainwell is probably going to get majority of the touches. And when he's been in, he's not been bad. He hasn't been Jalen Warren, though, fortunately / unfortunately. So something for us to at least just watch out there for from the Bears spot. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers, quick passes for this team. So hopefully we can play up. Now, should we be sending blitzes? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, you could definitely send a blitz, try to get it out, but you're going to just have to try and play up, and because that is the game that they're going to be trying to play. I still like the idea of sending CJ at them every now and again, but it's the name of the game is just stop the short plays, and also when they are running a screen to make sure that you're out there and stop the run. It is a disgusting brand of football that they play, but hey, at the end of the day, they're winning games. At the end of the day, they're 6-4. And that's the reason why. Their defense plays well. The defense can turn the ball over. It's like Bears football back in the day. They can run the ball well. It's nothing amazing. They can just run the football. They just dink and dunk the football. And they have a great line. They're able to get to the quarterback and cause some havoc. So that's what they're able to do. So playing press man, playing up on their guys, that is what the Bears are going to need to do at Chicago, going against the Pittsburg Steelers. But let's talk about the matchup that we're out here looking out for. So let me know your defensive matchup, Bears defense versus this offense. Who are you looking out for? Let me see what y'all are saying. J2K saying Frazier versus Billings is going to be a fun matchup. That's the thing that I actually haven't talked about. I realized because this line, Troy Fautanu has been a solid right tackle for them this year. He's taken some steps forward. Broderick Jones has not been good at the left tackle spot, but you look at the rest of their line, and it's solid. Zach Frazier has turned into be one of the better centers in the league. Is he one of the best? Is he the best? No, but he's a really good center right now, and he could definitely turn into one of the best. And then Isaac Seomalu has been a good left guard for them this year. And same thing with Mason McCormick out of South Dakota State at that right guard spot. So the line, it seems like a step down from the Bears team. Like, right, our Bears line, we have like really good players, just one step up than what they have out there on their team. So left tackle is going to be an issue. So hopefully Austin Booker ends up being that guy that could take down the bad man, Aaron Rodgers. So what is your defensive matchup to watch out for? Because let me see what else is out there. Other pieces. Jazumi. Sorry. I was like, I don't know why I said it that way, but Jazumi saying Brisker will break AR. Safety blitz in the third. Love it. That's a good call because Brisker hits hard. So that's a really, really good call. Tony's saying my matchup is going to be Booker versus Jones. I love that. That might be mine. AR gets the ball out quick. Yeah. It's just very quick ball out there. Let me see what else y'all are saying. Yeah. Interception. Dude, an interception would be great. Like a smack on Rodgers and an interception. That'd be the way for him to go out. And also, yeah, happy birthday, Ron. 10 days away. We'll have the countdown. So yeah, what, 29th? There we go. Let me see. What day does that fall on? Oh, the day after Thanksgiving or day after Black Friday. So yeah, we'll definitely be live. We'll have that show. Cheers to you, my friend. And then Broski, what's good? Saying Warren and Metcalf are their guys. Yeah, that's the main two that they have out there for sure. And Matt saying, wish we had another prime Urlacher to knock out Rodgers. Right? Just we need that. But yeah, let's see. 50% of y'all are saying Booker, 33% saying Sweat, 0% saying Trevon, 17% saying other. I'll end that poll. The matchup that I'm watching out for, though, do I think Jalen's out there? If Jalen's out there, I think it's going to be Jalen and Metcalf just to lock that down. I'm going to say Tremaine Edmonds versus Darnell Washington. Because that seems to be the big matchup that they're like, wait a second, we have something here. He's fun. He's someone that is just an absolute unit that's going to be very difficult to bring down. And I think that they're going to try to pair him up against Tremaine Edmonds. Sewell would be cool just because he's kind of a hard-nosed guy. But after that missed tackle, maybe they're like, you know what? Or unless they say, you know what, you could redeem yourself. Here, take out a 310-pound tight end coming at you. So I'm going to go with Edmonds versus Darnell Washington as my matchup to watch out for. But let's continue going through, and let's talk a little bit about the special teams where, Cairo, you're going back to Soldier Field. Don't mess up. There's no Jake Moody. Now, just get back to Cairo, 2 years ago when you're just kind of perfect in that, in the shorter range and just do well. Other things too, I'm just kind of curious to see who's going to be the kick returners, because the punt returner, we know it's going to be Devin Duvernay, but yet again, with Luther Burden getting more reps at wide receiver, now looking like the true number 3 wide receiver, it makes you kind of wonder, what are they going to do from that kick return spot? We saw Roshan back there, which I did not like. I'd like to see Olamide Zaccheaus back there. So I hope that we see OZ as the other kick returner right next to Devin Duvernay. I just feel like he can give you more of that upside. He is a good, decent playmaker with the ball in his hands. That's the thing that I want to see, because yeah, like what J2K is saying, with Blackwell, I just felt like when the ball was in his hands, it's like, oh no, like what's going to happen? It just seems like, oh man, he doesn't know how to hold on to that ball. So that's something that I'm a little bit nervous about. But also, Drax, amen. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Helps out the show tremendously. So now we're getting into the final little spot. Who has the edge? Bears versus the Steelers. So to me, who has the edge? If we're going through this and we're talking about the Bears offense versus the Steelers defense, I like the Bears running attack. I think that we have the edge running the football. We've been very consistent. We're one of the best running teams in the NFL from a success rate and just on. After the bye week, we have been one of the best running teams out there. And like I said before, the numbers all there say you can run on this team. They should run on this team. But when you flip it over to the other side with the passing game, I give them the edge. They're the blitz that they're going to be bringing, it's going to be crazy, and that's why I give them the edge. This is still a good defense, and there's weaknesses, you can attack it. I think that they have the edge there. Then if we flip it over to the defense, it kind of stays the same. I think that they have the edge passing the ball. I don't love this pass defense. And like I said before, I felt like the passing defense last week was more so because JJ McCarthy was awful. And watching it back, McCarthy was awful. And, that's good for the Bears because it's bad long-term for the Vikings. But yeah, JJ was awful. And I don't think that there's a lot that you can kind of put on the Bears passing defense when you watch how bad JJ actually was. And then you go to the run defense. I think that when you talk about this run defense, we started kind of letting up a little bit more. I give it to the Steelers, unfortunately. So I think the Steelers have the overall edge, but we're playing at home. And when you think about this too, let's say is Rodgers going to play or not? Now, if Rodgers plays, I want to see him play. If not, Mason Rudolph has been a okay backup. He's been a competent backup. That's why he's the Steelers' backup and not their actual starting quarterback. When he came in, he was 12-16 for 127 yards. Yes, it's against the Cincinnati Bengals, but still, that's not bad. And, so to me, I think it's going to be, I think that the edge overall goes to the Steelers. And also, very good question, Drax, about the weather. What is the weather going to be like there? Let me see if I can find this. Chicago. Where's Chicago weather? Let's see. Chicago weather. And let's check out the 7-day forecast. Sunny and 55 is what they're saying for the game. Might be a little, or yeah, like no precipitation. Yeah, it should be like 50 degrees and sunny. So no weather for this game, but let me know your predictions down below in the comments, and also a bold prediction. Cause I go back and forth with this one. I do go back and forth on. I don't go as back and forth with like the Giants. The thing that I also want to kind of bring up with these teams that I have not yet already, when I'm looking at just overall FPI, ESPN's FPI power, their football power index, has the actually has the Steelers as 2-point favorites. Now on the line with betting, they're actually 2.5-point underdogs against the Bears. So they're really like, I think they're trying to get the Bears hype. That's what it feels like to me. This feels like they're trying to trap us as like, hey, we're gonna win this. We're gonna definitely take this out. So I'm thinking, man, this one I struggle with, because also too, the Steelers are slightly fluky. There's a reason why they have a winning record, but still in the power index, still the 17th best. Let me see. I'm curious about DVOA, because I'm curious about where DVOA has the Bears and Steelers, because I feel like it's probably not great. So let's see. Pittsburgh is 14th in DVOA, and Bears are 25th. DVOA does not like the Bears at all. With this, let's see, J2K is saying 28-17 Bears. Ben scores more often than Rodgers. Dink and dunk offense can win, can't keep up with. So let's see. We got Drax saying Bears 33, Steelers 24. Ooh, man, I gotta say, this, like, and I was premature with the statement win for the Bears. This could be that statement win. Like, this really could. And this could be that win of dethroning Rodgers, winning at home, and taking over. Gosh. Y'all know what I'm going to do. I'm going to say Steelers. I think the Steelers can play well. I'm going to go with the Steelers. And yeah, we are at home. That's the other piece too. Being at home, going against the Steelers. I'm going to go Steelers. I feel like they're going to win. I think it's going to be their game. And you know, I know you guys can boo me. Now it's the meme, boo this man. I am going to say it. I think it's going to be 27-24. We end up losing. Even then, part of me is like, I don't believe it. I don't fully believe it. So, yeah, but I think that this is going to be a good game. I think dare I say, I think it's either going to be a blowout win for the Bears or a tight loss to the Steelers. But man, I'm just seeing the picture of Rodgers right now as I'm like looking at the score. It's like, man, I want to see this guy lose. I want to see this guy lose so bad. And I hope that Cole Kmet is up there and he's like, I grew up and this guy destroyed us. We have to take them down. So that is going to be the big thing. We have to run, like what Rod said. Like, we have to run. We have to take this out. We need to take them on. And Matt's saying too, Brad, win this week and Rams lose playing in, yeah, that I didn't think about that. The Bears would be playing for first place in the NFC, and I want to see it. But yeah, if I haven't said my bold prediction, I think this is a fairly bold prediction. I think that we get a wide receiver over 100 yards. Now, if I have to predict, I know I was going back and forth like with Rome or DJ. Now I kind of go DJ's way, even though that Rome has been the man-to-man beater. I'm curious if they know, well, it's man-to-man beat, so DJ, you go out there. But bro, it's going to be one of them. One of them is going for over 100 yards. I wish I could do a bet on like either or like one of them is going over 100 yards for sure. Book it. But yeah, that's going to be my feeling. So let's go. Let's take out the bad man. Let's beat them. Let's go, Bears. So we will be live after the game at 7:30 Central Time, live to break down the game, but hope to see you there. And I hope, right, if we win this, I want to see the boos in the chat, right, that I was wrong and everyone can yell at me because, man, it's going to be sweet if we're able to pull this out and end up winning. So if you're out there on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe on YouTube, hit the notification bell. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a